Okay, so we have the second part of integrating of this function. We're going to go ahead and the next thing that we're going to do here is we're going to, just notate the rule that is going to be very helpful. And you may already know that about this rule, but if you don't, here it is. So whenever you have two terms added underneath the integral, it's basically you're gonna take them and you're gonna integrate separately each term. And I'm just gonna write this rule here just so that you can get an insight of what it is. All right. And so basically what's happening, we have an f over x plus g over x dx. And that's what these terms are, is f of x, g of x. And so what you do when you have that, uh, you basically go ahead and you do f of x and then, plus the integral of g of x. So that's the rule. We're going to keep that in mind here when we go to the next step. So on this side, let's just go ahead and we do it about right here. Okay. And we're going to just break those up into two terms. Okay. And and this is very beneficial if you ever have to show your work. I know a lot of people probably would try to, or skip this step. Okay. So we have that. All right. And one thing that I did note is that we did forgot to pull the 1/4 out in front. All right. And so we have another rule that we have to consider, and that's basically the integral rule. When you take into derivative is different than when you take in a regular derivative. So we're gonna go ahead and use this space to show that. That rule is basically you have x over n. In this case, we have u over 1/2. We just add 1 to that, and we divide by that same thing. Okay, and we're gonna go ahead and do that here, and we are gonna go ahead and uh, I think I can go ahead and put the 1/4 in green now that we know what was going on. Okay, so we're gonna have u. Okay, so we're gonna come over here and I'm gonna just explain what's gonna take place when we use this rule for this. So we're gonna have u and we're gonna have 1/2. If we add 1, that's gonna become simple as that, u, and then we're gonna have 3 over 2. Now we have to go ahead and put the same thing here, which is 3 over 2. But what we would do is we would just basically flip this. Okay, so we're gonna cross that out, and we're gonna flip this, and we're gonna make it 2 over 3. Okay, so that's gonna be our new uh, here. So I can erase this term because we really didn't need that. And we can just plug this in here. So we're left with, of course, 2 times this. We're left with 2u 3 over 2 and all over 3. And we also have to do the same thing to this. So we got 1/4. And of course, this has been plus, but we have our integral here. And the same thing is going to happen to our 1 over square root of u. The square root of u, as you all may know, if not, it's the same thing as saying u 1/2. Okay. A good way that I like to think about this is whatever is here. Okay, this is imaginary 2. Um, whatever is there, you take and you place here. Whatever is here, you take and you place there. Kind of make sense? Okay, so we have u 1/2. Okay, and so since we do that, we're going to use the same rule, 1/2. But remember, we're going to cross this out because we have to multiply. And when we flip it, we're just left with 2. So that's going to be times 2, or it could just be 2u 1/2. But we'll just keep it as times 2. Okay. Now this next part that we're going to do is going to basically, we're going to take the 9 and the 1, and is for each function here. We'll plug in the 9, okay, and then we'll subtract when we plug in the bottom. So it'll work as follows. And keep in mind, we're going to be using this. So these, okay, are going to carry over to here. All right. So we have 1/4. We have to keep that. The integral 9, 1. And if we plug in 2 times 9, 3 over 1, what we would get is 54. And if you want, you can do the math. It's not hard, but you know, just I would just put it in the calculator if you want. 2 times 9, square root of 3 over 2, you get 54 over 3. Save you some time because when you're doing problems like this, uh, if you can utilize your calculator as much as possible, then cool. We're going to subtract, and we're going to do the same thing with our 1 here. Plug in our 1, and we're going to get 2 over 3. Okay, so that's all we did. We plugged in the 9, we got that outcome. We subtract, plug in our 1, and we get that outcome. Okay, so we've done that. We're just going to go ahead and put this in brackets here. We really didn't need our integral sign anymore. Yeah. So at this point, uh, we can kind of remove our integral sign because we're not taking the integrals anymore. Okay. And so we'll do the same thing for, should be over here, but we'll do the same thing for this side here. When you plug in, uh, gonna plus, when we plug in, bring down our 1/4. When we plug in the 9 here, 9 and 1/2, that's basically gonna give us 3. And times 2, we're gonna have 6. And when we plug in our 1, okay, 1, uh, we're gonna basically get 2, okay, because that's just gonna give us 2 when you do the math, okay. So then what we would do is we just continue simplifying everything. It should be a down home stretch at this point. We go ahead and subtract these. It's gonna be 52 over 3. And we have our 1/4 here. So we want to bring this in and multiply it. Okay. And then we're going to kind of do the same thing for our term here. Okay. Plus. And when you take 1/4 and minus this term, it's just going to give you 1. Okay. And you should see that because this is 4, and then you have 1/4, okay? And when you times that, of course, you have 4 over 4. All right, so our last step is to basically do the math. And of course, you have 52 plus 12 over 12 because, 3 times 4 is 12. So when you do this here, we're going to end up with 16 over 3. All right, so that's basically how we integrate when we're dealing with integrals and you have the use substitution method. I hope this video was helpful. If you find it helpful or if you have any comments, questions, please feel free to just leave those below. I do appreciate it. And also don't ever be afraid to step into math. Thank you for watching.